I want to thank everyone that subscribed to my channel. I'm totally blown away by this and I am very grateful. Doing my videos is very time consuming, but to see all the subscriptions, the comments, and the support makes it all worthwhile. In a previous video titled P-Bass Conspiracy Theories, I posted a challenge of recordings of 5 basses and asked the audience if they could pick out the actual P-Bass or P-basses used in a video experiment. The demonstration was to show that P-basses are a relatively simple setup, a pickup in this position, a volume, and a tone. But by virtue of that simplicity, it doesn't make it very hard or difficult to replicate on other basses that have pickups in that position. The accuracy of P-bass emulation will be determined by not just the pickup and the electronics of the instrument, but especially how the instrument is processed in the mix. Under a microscope, it may not sound like a P-bass, but for general working purposes, it will definitely be in the ballpark, because that's just physics. Remember, comparing P-basses to themselves can all sound different too. It really doesn't take a lot to get a P-bass-esque tone on most basses with pickups in that position. Now, before I give the answers, I want you to keep a few things in mind. First, all the basses got votes, some more than others, but nothing was unanimous. Next, when I demo basses, I go straight out of the bass into my interface. The bass tracks themselves are all set flat, no EQ. I do this to give the listener an idea of what any bass sounds like naturally without me coloring it in any way or biasing it to my preference. Third, on the demonstration, it's a drum track, a keyboard track, and a bass sitting on top of the mix. That's it. Next, you are listening to 4 bars of 5 tracks back to back. That's like showing you 5 color swatches of shades of beige where the differences are readily noticeable at a glance. Basically, I provided a giant microscope to scrutinize and compare these tones with. But let's be real and honest here. On most songs you listen to, you aren't hearing 5 back-to-back basses to compare to. You hear just one, and that bass usually isn't mixed on top. It's part of a mix with a lot more instruments than just drums and a solitary keyboard track. And unlike my tracks, the bass tracks you usually hear on a recording are all processed and EQ'd in the mix. And even the overall mix itself is processed and EQ'd. Now which shade of beige is this? How many recordings have you listened to in your life that you thought were a P-bass, which may have been some other instrument with a pickup in that position? So with all that in mind, here are the answers to the P-bass challenge. Bass number 1 was a 2004 USA Precision bass. Bass number 2 was the front pickup in series mode of a Schecter CV4, which is a passive bass. Bass number 3 was the P pickup soloed on my Fender American Performer PJ bass. Bass number 4 was the front pickup of my G&L ASAT in parallel mode in a passive setting. Now this actually wasn't planned. I meant to use the recording I made of the pickup in series mode, but I discovered the mistake when the video was almost complete, so I left it in. Bass number 5 is the front pickup on my USA PV Cirrus. Now I chose the Cirrus on purpose. It was the only active bass used in the demonstration, and I wanted to use a pickup that was pretty far removed from a typical split P. Now, I personally wouldn't use this one, but if this bass was the only bass that I owned, it's nice to know that the Cirrus can actually pull off a workable classic tone that's somewhat P-bass-ish. I'm Rib13. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.